Well, hello everybody and welcome to Lunch Break Live. Real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. I am a very frazzled Carrie Dela Cruz here with you a little bit late on a Tuesday afternoon. To say that it has been a frantic morning would be an understatement of the highest order. It has just been one heck of a crazy, crazy morning. Let me move my debris field here just a little bit out of the way so that I can be front and center with you guys and making a little bit of sense. Let me take a deep breath. Whew. How are you guys doing today? How is your day going? Is it off to a better start than mine? I hope. So happy that you guys are here to join me today to talk about what I'm going to call the next chapter. Standing up for yourself, the next chapter. Yesterday was quite an explosive, epic, jam-packed program, don't you think? I mean, if not, the least of which is like the long list of words that I gave you guys to absorb, to consume, to ruminate and ponder and think about. Hey, Marcus and Cynthia, and I haven't seen you. Cynthia, girl, I have been thinking about you and wondering where the heck you were and if you were okay. Every single day I think about you. I am so happy to see your face. And Melissa, I think I saw your name scroll by, and Nancy, my wonderful friend, as always. You're all my wonderful friends, but Nancy, just something about you, girl. You and I just click, I think. And my mama. And who else do I see? Marcus, did I say hi to Marcus? I think I did. And Melissa, yes. And who else is here? I got to put my glasses on because I can't read. Nina and Katie. Hi, Jessica. Oh my gosh, this is really super awesome. So thank you guys for being here. Hey, maybe I should wait like a minute past the half hour to go live more often, and more of you guys would make it. So anyway, I think I have to even clean my glasses because I can't see. So anyway, yesterday's show, I think it was a really, really good one, don't you? A lot of stuff. I got a lot of really good, healthy feedback. I think that standing up for yourself, not a simple subject. And there are a lot of dimensions. There are a lot of variables, a lot of factors, a lot of influencers, a lot of situations. It is so multidimensional, and there's not an easy solution. There's not an easy one-size-fits-all approach. And I mean, it's going to require us to draw upon different skills on different occasions. And guess what? The good news is we're going to learn, I think, as we become healthier and more balanced at it, that there are times when we don't have to say anything and can still stand up for ourselves. So anyway, let me just, before I get too far in, by the way, I did want to address something that has come up quite frequently over the course of the last couple of months, and from the bottom of my heart, convey to you my sincerest gratitude and thanks. I am, of course, speaking about the Obesity Help speaker nominations, because Obesity Help is holding its annual convention or conference right in my backyard. In Long Beach, I mean, the city where I live. And so many of you have graciously and enthusiastically wanted to nominate me to be a speaker at the event. And unfortunately this year, maybe it happened last year, I don't know, but they have definitely changed the requirements, and they've said, look, you can't nominate a speaker anymore. That speaker has to nominate themselves. So in other words, in order for me to be able to be a speaker at the event, I have to nominate myself. And just a little history, some of you are newer with me, haven't been friends with me maybe quite as long, don't know my history, but I actually was a keynote speaker for Obesity Help up in Seattle, fabulous in Seattle, and that was back in 2011, I think, so 6 short years ago. And so I am familiar and have been associated with the Obesity Help organization for many years. I was also, I did breakout speaking with them as well, and have spoken for my very favorite reconstructive surgeon, Dr. Katzen, and have been very closely associated with them for a lot of years. However, in this case, I've got to say, I feel funny. I don't want to nominate myself as a speaker. I mean, that's just the truth of it, right? I don't want to. I don't want to go, pick me, yay, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I just think it is nicer when someone else says, hey guys, she's good. I like listening to her, and I think others will too. I think there's just something to that. And me having to say, listen to me because I'm good, that doesn't work for me. That just isn't the way I like to work. But I don't in any way diminish certainly the way in which the Obesity Help organization has chosen to operate and chosen to solicit speakers. I'm in no way disparaging that. And I in no way want to minimize your efforts, your enthusiasm, and your support of me. So I hope that you understand that my not wanting to nominate myself or submit myself as a speaker is in no way a reflection upon my belief in myself or my abilities or in any way my enthusiasm for wanting to speak and wanting to share, because of course I want to. I am always ready to speak. I mean, I go to support groups. I'm willing to travel and have for many, many years, and would love to come talk to your group. As a matter of fact, if you're back east, come on, call me up, fly me out, and I'll do some talking. So whatever it is, if you want me, I'm there. But the point is, I really, really very much appreciate your support. I'm honored and humbled by the fact that you guys think I would do well to speak there. And so thank you for that. But I just thought I should address that. It's kind of like the elephant in the room, right? If I don't say anything about it, maybe you don't know how I feel about it or where I'm coming from. So just know that I hear you. I appreciate you very much. I would love to do it. And if they called me up tomorrow, you bet I'd speak for them. But if I have to nominate myself, nah, not so much. Not going to happen. All right. So that aside, I think I have beaten that dead horse, as they love to say. Let's see here. Give me your info. You'll nominate me. Yeah. Christy, you're so sweet. You can't. Yeah, you can't nominate me. I have to nominate myself. And again, I am in no way disparaging their method, how it is that they operate to get speakers in there. But it is kind of funny. I mean, find me a speaker who isn't willing to say, I nominate myself because I'm a great speaker. That would just be weird, right? And I don't want to do it. So there you go. But anyway, no harm, no foul. Nothing negative in any way, shape, or form, just explanation. And maybe I'm just standing up for myself a little bit here, you think? Which means it's a really super great continuation of yesterday's theme. Let's see here. Let me kind of give you some of the feedback that I got, which I really, really loved. I mean, you guys are so responsive, so powerful. I'm working up a sweat. Got to take my sweat off. I love the information that you guys are sharing, because if you're saying it, I guarantee you, and thank you for all the thumbs up. You guys are awesome. Good Lord, it happened again. If you saw my little setup here, you would understand how easy it is for that kind of stuff to happen. Okay. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Yikes. I kicked the can under my desk. That's how that started. All right. Let's see here. In response to yesterday's show, I heard a lot of powerful feedback about why people are afraid of doing it, why some are so skilled at doing it, and how easy it is to do it poorly. All right, so and by the way, I see a flurry of happy faces, thumbs up, like whoa faces, and crazy stuff floating by, probably in response to something that, okay, let me read it, you guys, and hearts, thank you. Would you all believe that she never said a word till about 6 months old, and then she said, Daddy, go bye-bye in the car. Mother. Okay, I can't believe I stopped the show to talk about that. Ugh, let's pretend I didn't. Well, I'm flummoxed. I'm speechless. I can't say anything about it. Anyway, what I was talking about on the show here was not about me. Okay, focus. I heard words. Now, this is very important. These are some of like the key themes, I guess you could say. Key themes in response. When I went back and read your comments during the show, after I posted the list of all the words that I asked you guys to mull over again and see which ones resonated with you, lots of responses there as well. I mean, so encouraging, and even today. So here's what you guys said. There were themes: acceptance, alcoholism, fighting, walking away, offensive versus defensive, childhood trauma, being abused, not being believed when we were kids, fear of rejection and abandonment, fear of not being liked or loved, fear of what others would believe or say, a perception problem, not being understood, fear of not fitting in or belonging, fear of being considered overbearing, tired of fighting all the time. I can stand up for myself, but I don't stand firm, so I backpedal. I'm a lover, not a fighter. If I don't stand up for myself, then I'm a doormat. Yet in order not to be a doormat, I would have to fight, which means I have to argue. But I get in trouble when I argue, so I need to keep quiet, and I avoid that at all costs. Standing up for myself is not safe. When I do stand up for myself, others often get angry, and I don't like anger. That's a pretty broad range of very strong emotions, don't you agree? And very strong reasons. In other words, this difficulty, the struggle that we have with standing up for ourselves doesn't come from nowhere. You know, it's not as if it's based in silliness or we're just being difficult or unreasonable or irrational. This very much comes from our experiences, many of them traumatic, many of them terrifying, and many of them where we didn't feel safe and we were not in control of our own destinies, okay? And so what we learned to do was, in order to cope and survive, many of us learned to shut up and put up, okay? So this whole idea of learning and being able to stand up in a healthy way when standing up was discouraged, was modeled poorly for us. Well, where do we learn these healthy skills? Where do we learn to do this in a healthy way? Well, after yesterday's show, Regina recognized that the words that seemed to resonate with her were the negative ones. So that was some great awareness. And she said, whoa, 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 when I go back and I look at the list, they're all negative. So maybe my first step in learning how to stand up for myself in a healthy way would be to look for the positives instead of focusing on the negatives. Let's turn those negatives into positives. I love that. I think that is a great place to start for a lot of things in our lives, looking at not letting the negative drive our bus, right? So she said, I set a goal for myself. I'm going to begin to find the positives about standing up for myself. I love that for you, Regina, and I think a lot of us could benefit from and follow Regina's example. I love that. Here's what healing sounds like, because I heard some really healing stuff out there as well. I am entitled to my opinion, even if others don't agree with me. I am stronger than I believed I was. So in other words, I didn't used to stand up for myself, but now I do, and I realize I'm stronger than I thought I was. Each time I stand up for myself, I feel more confident. I don't need agreement from others in order to believe something myself. That seems so simple, doesn't it? It seems so simple, and yet such a foreign concept to so many of us, it doesn't even occur to us. Because we believe that in order to stand up for something, we're going to need everybody to stand up with us. And that's going to require a lot of agreement and no disagreement, right? Standing up doesn't necessarily mean fighting. What a revelation. We talked about that yesterday. How many of us thought that standing up meant confrontation, automatic fighting, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that. Standing up might mean standing alone. But we don't have to be afraid to stand up for something we believe, even if we're the only one who believes it. So those are some healing thoughts that may never have occurred to us before that came out of this show from yesterday, and they came from your mouths, and I love that. You see? Do you see the power of support from a community of like-minded people where we're all working toward the same goal? Even if we would stand up in different ways, we have these common tools that we are learning that we either have or learning how to use them or didn't know we even had in the first place. That's amazing, okay? Here are my thoughts on it. I think that in order to become healthier at standing up for ourselves, it's going to take practice. Practice is absolutely vital. It takes courage, and it takes the willingness to have others disagree or dislike you. Whoa. You know, as a people pleaser, a reforming, recovering people pleaser, as someone who cared so much what other people thought about her, as someone who couldn't stand the thought that anyone might not like her, that's very challenging, right? It's a very challenging thought process to be okay, accepting of, or be able to live with the fact that there are just going to be people that don't like me and don't agree with me. And I have to be okay with that, you know, because why am I okay with it? Because I realize I don't control that anyway. I have no control over that anyway. Agreement does help. Absolutely. Yeah, it's nice to have agreement. Of course it does. But we're not always going to get it. It's not always going to get agreement. It's always nicer to stand firm about something that others stand firm about too, right? Because then that's kind of like a protest, right? You got everybody standing up there believing in the same thing. That's a lot easier. You know, if you're on your side of the street and everybody's got signs and everybody's chanting and everybody believes in it, and then you're like the one person on the other side of the street. How's that feel? Right? They all agree and with themselves and they disagree with you. Ouch, right? How many of us are willing to put ourselves in that position? And yet, how many of us feel like that's exactly what we have to do every time we want to stand up for ourselves? We feel like we're facing the firing squad of protesters on the other side of the street, you know, waving picket signs, right? And we're the only one on the other side of the street, and those picket signs might as well be guns, and they're all pointed at us. How do we feel, you know, do we feel like that when we have to stand up for ourselves? Understanding is nice because when you're understood, you feel like you belong, right? Understanding is nice. When someone understands us, we feel like we belong. We certainly belong with them because they understand us and they agree with us and they're like, yes, I get it. And you go, oh, good, I'm not alone. That's nice. But our goal is to realize that we don't need agreement to feel okay about our beliefs. And others really don't need to understand, especially if, you know what? We can explain it. We've explained it. Maybe we can do that if they still don't understand. Like I said yesterday, that's not on us, okay? It is not up to us to make others feel good about our position. You follow that? It is not up to us to make others feel good about our position. Look, I have been on the receiving end many a time for many years because I put myself there quite frequently, okay? I did. I surrounded myself by people who were quite willing to use me for target practice, a piñata, on the firing line, whatever. I put myself there, okay, quite frequently. And so I have a lot of practice at being terrified and not feeling safe and not standing up for myself and feeling like a victim. I have a lot of experience with that. And I have less experience at standing up for myself in a healthy way, but more and more every day. And you know what? In doing that, in standing up for myself, boy, sometimes people don't like me and they let me know it. That sucks. But I can't let that stop me from standing up for myself because I lived it the other way and it sucked too, right? So I'm thinking, let's see, do I want to be in charge of my own destiny, you know, and have people maybe potentially not like me? Or do I not want to be in charge of my own destiny and let people walk all over me and, oh yeah, not like me? I think you know which one I chose. I just didn't realize I had a choice before, but I do. Let's see, things to consider about standing up for yourself in a healthy way. All right, here's what I think, because someone said, you know, how can you do it in a constructive way? Can you give us some like tools to figure out, you know, how do you do it? Well, as I started the show and I explained, there's such disparity or there's such a broad array of differences in what brings us to this place and in what standing up for ourselves looks like. I can't, you know, I'm painting with a broad brush here, but I think generally speaking, it is fair to say, consider the goal. That's the first thing we got to do. What is it that you're trying to accomplish or what needs to be done here, all right? If it's your goal to hurt the other person, then maybe that's not standing up for yourself. Maybe that's having yourself all over somebody else, okay? Do you want to embarrass them? You know, put them down, belittle them, make them the doormat, shame them? Maybe you're trying to change their mind. Well, maybe that's not the best goal here, all right? If it is the goal, go into it knowing that that is your goal. Are you trying to get them to agree with you? Are you trying to make them back off and fear you? Okay? Is your goal to destroy them, belittle them, make them question their decision to question you? Okay? There are many people out there for whom those are goals. I want to make you question your questioning of me, right? I want to make you wish you had never doubted me for a minute. There are people for whom that is a goal. And if that is a goal for you, you might want to rethink that. If you're trying to get them to agree with you, likewise, because you're a people pleaser and you just want to be liked, you might want to rethink that. Consider your technique. Do you have to yell and get angry? Or can you state your position in a calm and respectful way? All right? Hold on, my daughter is texting me in the middle. Shh, quiet. Okay. Are you being threatening? Maybe you're being threatening and trying to be big, right? And get all over them, because if you can make them feel less than, then they'll give in. They'll roll over and say, I give, I give, I give. You win, you win, you win, right? And she's texting again. Okay, let's see. What about your body language? Consider your word choice. Are you insulting? Are you putting others down, ridiculing, dismissing? Think about the word choice. Sometimes we try to make ourselves feel better by putting other people down, making them feel less than so we can feel more than. Okay? Consider your technique when you're doing this. Consider how you'd feel in the other person's position. Okay? And maybe that other person wants you to stand up for yourself. You know, maybe they want you to have a backbone, have a spine. Maybe they want that. Did you ever think of that? There are some people that want you to stand up for yourself and be strong. They want that for you. Consider that. Ask yourself why you wouldn't stand up for yourself. What is that all about, huh? Why wouldn't you stand up for yourself? Do you doubt you can do it? Maybe you're not confident in your position. Oh, maybe you think they won't agree with you, or worse, they'll unfriend you on Facebook. Oh my God. Uh-oh. Well, that's just worse than death if they unfriend you. Think about that. Ask yourself, am I trying to control the other person by not letting them get mad at me, or be scary, or be mean, or say things I don't want to hear? See, manipulation is a surprising part of standing up for yourself. It really, really is. Even if you're the victim, even if you're the person that says you never stand up for yourself because you're afraid, well, aren't we just manipulating the other person? We're trying to control them by saying we don't want them to act a certain way. We don't want them to say a certain thing. We don't want them to do a certain thing. We're really trying to control that situation and be manipulative, aren't we? So when we say we aren't standing up for ourselves, isn't that interesting? Maybe we are, but we're doing it in a very subversive way, you know? And I think we need to be above board. We need to be honest about our intentions, honest about our goals, our beliefs, our positions in a respectful and calm, not angry, not dismissive, not ridiculing, not insulting way, okay? So are you being offensive? Are you being defensive, right? You know, people can be offended even if you're not being offensive, right? You can defend yourself without being defensive. You don't automatically have to defend yourself because, right, taking on that defensive position, sometimes you can take a neutral position. So consider that. Sometimes we look at two extremes and think I either need to be offensive or defensive. Well, maybe you don't need to be either. Maybe you can be neutral. We cannot change what happened to us. Them's just the facts. That's the truth. Can't change what happened to us. We cannot go back and change the family dynamics of living with an abuser, an alcoholic, an unattentive, inattentive parent, unloving, cruel, mean, absent. Can't go back and change any of that. We cannot unlive what we already lived, but we can decide that we won't relive what we already lived. What do you think of that? We cannot unlive what we already lived, but by golly, we do not have to go back and relive what we already lived, do we? Really? I don't think so. I did not live your lives. I think this is what I want to close on. I didn't live your lives, and so I don't have your exact experiences, but I share many of your emotions. And I understand what it feels like to be afraid and to feel unsafe and to feel unworthy. I understand those feelings. So if those are feelings you have about why it is that you don't like to stand up for yourself, I get it. Even if I didn't live your life, I share those emotions. I know what that feels like. And I think that if you want to learn to stand up for yourself in a healthy way, a good place to start is with a healthy self-image. You're like, well, how do I do that? Well, it begins with recognizing your strengths, your merits, your value, your capabilities, your right to be right, your right to be wrong, and your right to just be. See, this is awareness. This is acknowledgement of what is. That's a very, very important part of developing a healthy self-image. It's knowing who you really are. See, self-esteem isn't just always about being great at everything or being perfect in every way or not having any flaws or not doing anything badly and not making any mistakes, not misspeaking or saying that. No, that's not a healthy self-image. A healthy self-image is an awareness that says, when I'm at the grocery store with my husband and I make a snotty face because he's asked me for what I believe is the umpteenth time, what are we going to do with those potatoes? And he finally says, why did you make that ugly face just now? It's the healthy self-image says, I'm really sorry. You know, I did make an ugly face right there, and it wasn't fair of me, and I apologize for doing that. You know, I was frustrated. I feel like you've been asking me a million times what I'm going to do with the potatoes, and that's just not really fair of me, is it? I can answer you for what I believe is the 1,000,001st time without making a snotty face. So I apologize for that. Please forgive me. No, I'm not making mashed potatoes. Hannah is making roasted potato wedges. Okay, that's a healthy self-esteem. It's not making the ugly face. It's owning your crap. The minute you become aware of it, either someone made you aware of it or you became aware of it yourself. Got it? Okay. So it was okay for me to be wrong. It was okay for me to say, that wasn't okay for me to do, and I apologize. Okay. Occupy your space confidently, even if no one shares that space with you. Speak up, even if no one wants to hear you, and stand tall as you grow in your recovery. So that's what I got to say in this very long show about the next chapter of standing your ground, standing up for yourselves. Obviously, I'm going to go back and look at your wonderful commentary. Thank you for your feedback here, for letting me know that you're listening, that you're liking what I'm saying, you're agreeing, or you're feeling it, or okay, it's making sense, it's resonating. Thank you so very much for that. Thank you for making everyone feel so welcome here. I love this community that we're building. I used to say it all the time, and I still very much feel it. You all welcome each other in with high, high highs, and this is a good place to be, isn't it, you guys? Don't you feel like you belong? Don't you feel welcome and loved and accepted and understood here? I mean, wow, isn't that what support is all about? It isn't about me. I know you guys are showing up so you can hear what I might have to say about something, right? But the reality is, the only reason I'm doing this and the only reason I can do this is because you guys are all there to listen and share and give me feedback and help other people to feel that they belong, that they have value, they are worthy, and they are loved. How awesome is that? We are all living our recovery every single day. So, one more part of living your recovery is, of course, what they call the 12th step, which is paying it forward, which is bringing the message to others. And so that is what I encourage you to do, not for me, but for the benefit of this community that we're growing, this healthy recovery community. Please share this with others. You know, there's a few of you guys that are so very good at sharing, and I very much appreciate that. If you thought this was worth sharing, please do share it with your friends and even your enemies. You never know. And I'm going to sign off for today and continue with my very harried day. And maybe tomorrow we'll change gears and talk about something else. I've been seeing some suggestions coming in, so we shall see. And I'm not completely abandoning this subject because this is something that matters. It factors into everyday life in one way, shape, or form. So we will definitely continue to talk about standing up for yourself in lots of different ways. So thank you guys for being here. I love you all and appreciate you even more. So I'm going to sign off and remind you all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, live your recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.